everyone, welcome everybody to another top 5. In this week's top 5 is top 5 flying type Pokemon. Please bear in mind that this top 5, as well as any top 5 that I do, not based on just stats nor designs. It's based on a combination of things and based on my opinion. Yes, the big O word. And if you don't agree, please leave your own top 5 in the comment section below and let's get this discussion going. Additionally, if you do enjoy my content, please do leave a like or subscribe for more Pokemon and anime related content stuff. Without further ado, let's start with number 5. And another thing, this is probably going to be my last top 5 on this YouTube channel, which is going to be moving on my different channel, the Infinite King TV, because I really want to focus on highlight and kind of podcast style content on this channel instead of top 5 and kind of organize kind of top list, my top 3 or top 5 list. So without further ado, if you want more, I'm gonna be leaving a link in the description or a card in the end card for the Infinite King TV. So please do subscribe there if you want more top 5. And without further ado, let's go on with number 5, shall we? Starting up with number 5 is Corviknight from the recent 8th generation of games. I mean, the fact that it's an early bird Pokemon and yet one of the strongest Pokemon of that generation, I think it actually made it to the competitive scene for a while. I love Corviknight. Like Corviknight, I mean, his design looks so freaking slick, looks so badass, like kind of a Dark Knight aesthetic. I love Corviknight. And there's also the fact that, well, the fact that I love the type combination, the Steel and Flying type. I think I can only recall, correct me if I'm wrong, there's only one Pokemon that is still Flying type, I believe. It's Skarmory that I can recall. I didn't really put Skarmory. I'm not a big fan of Skarmory in general, so for that in mind, I freaking love Corviknight because it makes up for the design, the fact that it's one of the strongest and an early bird Pokemon makes it really unique for being an early bird Pokemon and really being a strong Pokemon. So I love its lore that it's been a ride for the people of Alola. I love everything about Corviknight. Corviknight alone, my dudes. Corviknight, I had to use him in all of my playthrough. I love the fact that it's also very competitively viable. It has its own Gigantamax form, everything. I freaking love Corviknight. So without further ado, number 5 is Corviknight, and let's proceed into number 4. 4 is Talonflame. I would have preferred putting it like number 3, but for me, what icks me a bit about Talonflame that moves it down a notch for me is probably the fact that they massively downgraded this Pokemon in 7th gen. Galwanx actually, I think 7th gen or either 7th or 8th gen where they actually downgraded it to like the Galewings a bit. I really love the Galewings a bit. I mean, I do understand that they have to nerf it somehow because it's too overpowered. I mean, that alone, it makes all of the flying type or wait, what's Galewings again? I think, hold up, I'm probably gonna look that one up. With I think Galewings, if I'm not mistaken, makes all flying type moves priority. I'm not sure about that. I'm gonna look that one up in editing. I'm literally gonna edit in some key details about that, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Galewings make all flying type moves, which is all flying type moves a priority boost, which is that alone kind of overpowered because Brave Bird is a thing. Brave Bird and Ruse freaking in competitive since very overused, and I get that they have to limit it, they have to nerf it in future generations, but still though, it's still the fact that it made that much of an impact in the competitive scene. It's one of the strongest flying type, and the fact that it's also the flame body ability, I actually for the longest time I love the flame body ability. To use it in my breeding back at 6th gen, like in my Pokemon breeding, is probably one of the most iconic, memorable things about X and Y ever, because I love Talonflame, the design, the stats, I freaking love everything about Talonflame. So For me, even if they downgraded it, it's just very understandable that they would nerf him down. I still freaking love Talonflame. Without further ado, number 4, Talonflame. Let's proceed to number 3. Number 3, the Fat Bat himself, Growback. I mean, what can I say about Growback? Like, the fact that he's freaking, well, it's a fat freaking bat. He's one of the most common flying type there is, because of course Zubats is freaking everywhere, but the most difficult to evolve, because I still don't like friendship evolution, yo. And it's totally worth it because it's fast, it's very bulky. I love Growback, and as you can see here, it's my shiny Growback. Growback is actually one of my favorite shiny there is. Like, it's taking a very light pink, sort of light green with a light green highlights. Like, I freaking love the shiny design alone. Win-win. I love the fact that in the anime Brock had his own Growback because he's a Pokemon breeder and it evolves into friendship. I freaking love that fact. And then there's also the fact that I've used it a countless of times and I've always end up falling for it. Like, damn. It becomes one of my staple Pokemon for this chat for all of my Pokemon playthrough because I love Growback. Growback is probably one of my favorite flying type. Fast, really bulky, really offensive. I freaking love this Pokemon. Without further ado, number 3, Growback. Let's proceed into number 2. Number 2, very high on this list. Of course, you know that I'm a 4th gen sim. I love me some 4th gen, but number 2 is Raptor, the normal flying type early bird Pokemon of the 4th generation of games. It's the Raptor, of course. You pretty much know that this Pokemon is right here. Like, it's in the layout, man. It's literally the thumbnail, everything. I love the Raptor. The design is like the little, what do you call that one? The face, the little kind of banks, anime-esque design. I love the anime-esque design, yo. Freaking the fact that it can learn a multitude of great moves like close combat, brave bird. Like, it's a very diverse moveset, yo. Freaking Staraptor is probably one of my favorite flying type design. Move pools, which is, I don't get to say that reasoning more often. Freaking stat wise, I love it's very near dear in my heart. Staraptor. Number 2, of course, despite the fact that I'm a 4th gen kind of fan, of course something had to be put on top of Staraptor in my book because I love this Pokemon way more than Staraptor. The Staraptor is one of my top 2. So without further ado, let's go on for number 1. Who better to beat Staraptor in my book? Follow is freaking number 1. For those of you who doesn't know, the first ever Pokemon game, official Pokemon game that I actually went and beat is the 4th generation game. Although I did play it in an emulator. Yeah, I did play it in an emulator, but I first beat the 4th gen of games. Every time I go start a new game for 3rd gen, or the 3rd gen games, because it's the very first game that I played. I think it's Pokemon Ruby that I played. Pokemon Ruby. I think, yeah, Pokemon Ruby. Every time I reset Pokemon Ruby, I always use Swallow. Like, just the design alone, like, I think just the design alone, it's also really fast, really good for competitive. I think RU, right? Well, RU in Smogon in the tier competitively. I mean, it's not all that strong, but design is very iconic. The fact that Ash and his Swallow has a lot of iconic moment, namely the yellow armor Swallow. Like, damn, that for me was amazing. I wanted to use that in my tier. I thought that was a real thing, but of course, sadly, that was only an Ash thing. So yes, I'm just gonna settle for Swallow. Swallow in my number one spot for many of Ash's, for the reason that many of Ash's moments with Swallow is always an epic moment, yo. And I've used a lot of Swallow a lot of times in my Pokemon games, in my Pokemon Ruby games, yo. When I was playing it, the very first Pokemon game in my emulator that I played is Pokemon Ruby. So yes, of course I'm gonna be putting Swallow very high up, despite the fact that I'm still a huge fan of the 4Gen games. I'll be putting Swallow up higher than Staraptor because damn it, Swallow is just freaking iconic in my book. So without further ado, that will be my top 5 and my top 1 contender of this list.